What is up, watch friends? Welcome to another episode of Talking Timepieces with Tony. I'm Tony. You're the viewer. Thanks for watching. Today I am wearing my Zenith Pilot El Primero 3-hand. And I almost didn't do this video tonight because for those of you who have been long-time viewers know I have a really bad back. I have a fractured disc and everything, and I kind of refused to get the surgery, so I got epidural shot or injections that's where they go real deep into your spine, and then they give you this epidural, and it actually worked for several months up until lately it's been starting to flare up a little bit. So I literally got an appointment yesterday with my orthopedic surgeon. And they can't just do an epidural right on the spot. It's a surgical procedure. And so she gave me 4 trigger point injections in the back yesterday, and I felt great all day today up until about 3:30 when I stood up and my back went out. So now I am walking with a cane. I'm in a frickin' truckload of pain, dude. So that's why I almost didn't do it. And I'm also trying to get my medication sorted out. There's a problem with the pharmacy, my insurance, and everything else. And this happened last time. It's mind-boggling. Anyway, enough of that crap. So I'm going to do the best I can. It's the watch ball episode, the magic watch ball, and that's right here. We do Q&A on Fridays. So if you want a question answered, just go ahead, leave a comment with your question. And we do the magic watch ball. She answers a question. She can be a smart ass. Sometimes she's cool. Sometimes she's just flat out rude. And I generally give my 2 cents worth. Sometimes people don't ask the ball and they just ask me a question. This is just a lighthearted way to have fun with watches instead of all the seriousness that goes around these watch channels and whatever. And then one other thing is I was super stoked yesterday after I got back from the doctor. One of the owners of Bindi Jewelers, my AD, called me and out of the blue, and they invited me to the UTC in Los Angeles. We haven't had live tennis here in years and years and years, and it's the Ultimate Tennis Championship. Nick Kyrgios, a bunch of top players are playing tomorrow, and it's sponsored by Zenith, so I was invited. And I was so stoked to go, but at this point now, I'm not going to be able to go, unfortunately. So I posted it on my Instagram that I was super stoked, and now it doesn't look like I'm going to go. So that sucks. Anyway, let's roll the intro, and we will get into the Q&A. Okay, here we are. First question comes from Danny in Bay Ridge. I apologize, man. This came from Instagram. Usually I prefer to have the questions in a comment on my YouTube, but if I catch it on Instagram, sometimes I miss stuff on Instagram, but either way, I caught it. So let's see. Question for the watch ball. Cartier Santos large, green dial or blue? Plan to wear it primarily as a dress watch, i.e. suit and tie. I intend to get a black and brown alligator strap in addition to the factory bracelet. Appreciate your advice as always. Magic watch ball. Cartier Santos large, blue dial or the new green dial that they came out with? Green all the way. Blue is very difficult to read, although I have a feeling that green's probably going to be very difficult to read as well. But if you're going to pick one of the two, not the other, I would go with green. All right, there you go. So green. And I would say the same thing. Okay, man, I've had 2 of those watches, not the blue or the green one, because I prefer the Santos in its authentic, classic Cartier look. I did try the blue one on, obviously this is before the green one came out. And when you see photos of it and you see videos of it, it looks very legible. But once you get it in person, it's not legible at all. It's very difficult to read. I'm going to assume the green one is the same way based off of the actual fact that I think it's probably the same process that they did to color it blue as they did as green. The green is very difficult to look at as green. It looks black Looks like a black dial. Always, it's very difficult in the light to catch that green. However, it's your choice. I prefer the classic Cartier, but if it was me and I had to pick out of the two of them, I would get the green for sure. So thanks, brother. I appreciate your question, man. Next question is from Steel Steez 6118. Hey Tony, how are you liking your stock Zenith Pilot Codura strap so far? Is it super comfortable for daily wear? How would you compare it to the Sub Oyster bracelet? And if you could only choose one for daily wear, which would it be? I know it's comparing steel to fabric, but curious as to the overall comfort and fit of both. Which one do I prefer? Dude, that's a tough one. All right, so I'm wearing this one right now, but I can tell you this. It looks like Codura. It acts like Codura, but it is not Codura. It's actually rubber. They call it a Codura effect, but it's rubber. So it's very comfortable. It's extremely comfortable. How would I compare it to the Sub? It's really hard to compare the two because I wear this and it's like, not, you know, I don't know it's on my wrist. It doesn't notify me to let me know, hey dude, I'm your watch, I'm on your wrist, I'm making it feel uncomfortable or whatever. It's there, just like the Sub. You know what I mean? So they're both equally comfortable, but in different ways, I guess. This is a more comfortable watch for, so I would say every day, as well as summertime watch. In California, you know, it gets brutally hot out here. And I would rather have a rubber strap or even a leather strap, believe it or not, in the summer, as opposed to the metal strap. Metal strap, you know, a bracelet, whatever, kind of when your hand sweats or when your wrist sweats or whatever, it kind of sticks to your wrist. You know, you feel it kind of getting, and it gets that puddle of sweat underneath your arm. Gross, dude. But no, it's true. I mean, these do it too. But I have this one just loose enough, so I think this is a better everyday wear as far as the faux Codura rubber strap. Great for summer, winter, and fall, and spring as well. Thanks, dude. I appreciate your question. Ronald Vogel, I2600, or is that 12600? I think it's I2600. No, it's not. It's actually Ronald Vogel 2600. Sorry, man. Great information. Thanks for sharing. Would it be possible? Thanks for sharing. I'm guessing that was probably on my last video I did. Which was, I don't know, what was my last video? You guys know. I'm sorry, man. It's like, the pain is incredible. Would I be able to do a video on how to spot a fake Rolex? Yes and no. Just by looking at them, sometimes you can't. Sometimes by handling them, you can't. They're getting so good at these fakes now that they're really hard to tell. And I don't think I'm that good, you know what I mean? To where I can just say, hey, that Daytona isn't real by just looking at a picture of it, you know? Sometimes you can, you know what I mean? You have to really see some of these things up close. Sometimes you even need to have one real one and one fake one next to it to be able to find the inaccuracies of that watch. It's kind of tough. So, you know, I could do a video, basic, you know, general, like for the most part, most fakes you can spot, you know what I mean? And you can feel that they're fake. You know, I'm talking about the super clone ones that are, whatever those things are, however much they cost. I have no desire in that stuff, you know what I mean? So, unfortunately, you know, yeah, I could, but it wouldn't do any justice to anybody. But I thank you for the question, man. This is from Metagirl. Metagirl's my little sister. She's super bright. She knows more about watches than me and well, she knows more about watches than most people. Let's put it that way. Okay, so yeah, it was about the full set, keeping a Rolex, what full set versus box and papers, right? So her video, that was my last video. So her question is, great advice. Upon your advice, I even kept the bezel guard from my OP, Oyster Perpetual purchase. I was lucky enough to score my Milgauss as a full set. My question is, even though I have had it serviced, and it has a new warranty card, should I still hang on to the old warranty card since that was part of the full set? Not sure if that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And yes, hang on to everything. It's not useless. All this stuff adds up. If you ever see people that have these watches that go into auction, some of them that have every little piece of paperwork attached to it, meaningless as it may be, adds value to that watch. Hang on to it, because even though that card's irrelevant now, it's relevant to the resale price. Not that you're going to sell it, because I know you won't, but it's relevant to have everything, you know? It's like when you buy a car and you get it serviced, and every little, like say you even took it in to get, you know, the tires rotated and it cost you 40 bucks or whatever it is, and you get a receipt. Keep that stuff, you know what I mean? All of it. It's good to have, you know what I mean? It never hurts to hang on to anything related to your watch that shows what it is. You know what I mean? In fact, if you didn't have that, it would almost, I think you would lose a little bit on it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. And I thank you, Metagirl, as always, because you ask good questions. This is from Gordon Harwell. Great video. I think this is again from my last one, full set box and papers. I never seem to get the white hang tag. I wish I could read today. I never seem to get the white hang tag from the ED. I think you mean AD. I have been on the wait list for an Explorer at Bindi for about a year. Is it time to give up? Thanks for the great topics. I'm writing this from Priscilla's. Maybe we can meet up one day. Awesome, dude. Priscilla's is anyone who lives in the area I live in is a coffee shop in Toluca Lake, and yeah, I haven't been to Priscilla's in a while, but I drive by it all the time. You know what I mean? I usually go to the Starbucks next to Bob's if I'm actually going out to get coffee, or I get Starbucks at Warner Brothers right here because they have a Starbucks there. But yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, we can meet up. Just guys figuring a time and doing it. But you've been on the wait list for an Explorer. I don't know who your sales rep is at Bindi. And you want to follow up with them, not call them, just go in. You're obviously local, so go in there periodically. Even say hi to Juan, man. Let them know. You just say, hey, you're dealing with, I don't know how many watches you've bought with that, whoever your sales rep is, okay? If you have a spending history with that rep, then stay with that rep. You're going to have to, because they won't let you won't be able to go to another rep. If you don't and just put your name on the list, then you can go to another rep. Talk to Juan and let them know what you want, and you've been waiting for a year. Let them know you're a viewer of my channel. Not that that's going to do anything. In fact, that might delay it. You might not get anything. You might get a consolation fucking Bell and Ross or something, you know what I mean? That's Coors Light. I like Coors Light. I thank you for your question, Gordon. UUU9969. Can you explain what exactly Jumbashop does? These prices are so low, it's as if they are in business to take a loss. How can these prices be so low and posted on eBay that takes an additional 15%? Scratching my head on that company. Yeah, man. All right, so Jumbashop, you have to be careful with them. They really suck. Their customer service is terrible. Okay, for one. They're like a huge, for those of you who don't know who Jumbashop is, they're a huge online secondary gray market dealer. Now, they primarily don't deal with Rolex, Pateks, and things like that, up until fairly recently, okay? Now, if you go on their site, you'll see Rolex GMT Master 2. It won't say it's in stock. It'll say, so many weeks before delivery, because they don't have the watch. They have to source it, and then that's probably maybe what the price is. You won't get box and papers with it either, for the most part. I haven't done any business with them in a long time, and I refuse to ever do it again. They were good for watches under $1,000. Okay, you could get Movado, Tag Heuer, things like that. The reason why they can do that is because certain companies, like for instance, they come out with a watch line, and again, there's hundreds of watch companies, right? And what they do is for instance, that year's model maybe not have sold or whatever. So Jumbashop gets these from the ADs, or I say ADs, but the jewelry stores and watch whatever, at such a huge discount because they need to get rid of those watches, right? They don't want them sitting on their shelf. Then what Jumbashop does, they buy them at this really huge discount. They mark it up a bit, but Jumbashop goes by volume. So you get a really good discount from Jumbashop even being new. So for instance, you could buy a Longines, you know, like a $2,000 Longines for like maybe $800. So you're getting it at, you know, over 50% off on some of them. Most of them, a lot of them are 40% off. They're just getting, it's like Longines getting rid of, not Longines directly, but whoever sells Longines, they're buying them from them. So they're buying and they're selling a lot of product, and it's a lot of turnover. So the more turnover you have, even at a smaller profit margin, equals big money, right? Don't buy a watch from Jumbashop over $1,000. You don't, you know what, I've had 2 really bad encounters with Jumbashop. One was actually a Javril Avenue of the Stars, I don't know, Avenue of the Americas, sorry. And the minute I opened the box and pulled the crown out, the crown came out. I called them 5 minutes, within 10 minutes of actually receiving the package, and they tried to blame me for breaking the watch. So it was a nightmare, and there's 2 times, I think 3 times altogether I had issues with them. So I won't ever buy from them, even for the cheap ones, man. So yeah, that's what they do. Appreciate your comment, dude. All right, so this one, oh man, I have a lot of, I might have to stop this video. No, I'll just keep going. This is from Vian 1. I hope I said your name right. Hey Tony and Magic Watch Ball, cheers from Geneva. Right on, Geneva, Switzerland. Your opinion of the Longines Lindbergh hour angle, the edition of the 80s, 38mm in full gold. It has a very useless and clever complication. Maybe you can elaborate on those obsolete features on a watch. Do you disregard them or take it for what it is? Watch Ball, you go first. It's junk. Why would you look at that stuff? It's garbage. Don't even ask me questions like that. See, I told you the Watch Ball could be rude. There we go. Well, okay, so essentially, it's not really, I say obsolete. It's a tool watch. As ugly as it may be, let me take another sip. It's an ugly ass watch. It was made with a purpose, though. It was designed by Charles Lindbergh, and essentially it's a navigation system on the bezel, right? So you measure the second hand, and you can match it up to the GMT time. It's got this really weird thing. They're freaking hideous. But they're not useless. They are a tool watch. They do work. I wouldn't buy one because I think it's ugly as hell. It's kind of like almost wants to be a dress watch, but it's a tool watch, and it's like it's a mishmash of the two. It's kind of like they were like, well, let's try to make this, you know, watch, but it's got, you know, but make it look nice so you could wear it with a suit and tie kind of thing. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know. It's all right. It's expensive too. Thanks for your question, dude. I appreciate it. This is from Shimra 8888. Tony, what do you think of the new Seiko SJE093? Okay, well, it's a Prospex, and it's basically an homage to their very first dive watch in 1965. To me, it looks like just a ton of other Seikos that came out, and I can't tell the difference between one or the other, actually. So, you know, it's cool if you're a big Seiko fan and you like that stuff, then by all means buy it. I don't really like it. I wouldn't say I don't like it. I think I like it because I like Seikos, but I can't get, there's again too many references, too much, more than Omega. But thanks, dude. Jose Joe Abel. Is that an acronym kind of thing? Anyway. I've always wondered about asking an AD about possibly getting a date just. I have zero buying history. I met a salesperson once and he gave me info and answered questions on other models, plus we had a decent conversation. I originally was thinking a two-tone Submariner. He said those are possible but can take time to get. Just something about the date just I've always had in the back of my mind. I've always liked the 36mm and a Jubilee look. Do you think there's any luck with the date just? The sales rep even told me the Explorer 2 is not in high demand compared to a Submariner. You are correct. The Explorer 2 is not in as high demand as the Submariner. It's harder. It's going to be harder to get. You can probably most likely walk into an AD and just about get a date just at this point in time without really waiting. You know, 36 millimeter just depends on the dial. If you go for the Wimbledon dial, you're not going to get that one, but you might get the blue motif. There's a green that might take a little bit longer to get, but you will get a date just before before anything else. Even an OP. The OP used to, you know, used to be the easiest, but no, now it's like one of the hardest. It's harder to get an OP than it is to get a Submariner. Harder to get an OP than a GMT Master 2 fucking Pepsi. Harder to get an OP than a Daytona. Sorry, man. Thanks for your question, dude. Good luck with that. I hope you get it. I do. I really do. AOM6301. Hi, Tony. My Rolex AD didn't give me the white tag. I didn't realize it until it was needed to make my watch a full set. Should I go back and ask for it? I'm sure they said at the time that they had to keep the white tag. Thanks for your advice. Yeah, man, I got a lot of people that said they didn't get the white tag, and I kind of knew that. I knew some ADs even held warranty cards and stuff. But, you know, it's your tag. It comes with the watch, and you have every right to it. You paid for it. But if they have to, if it's their thing to keep it, then they keep it, you know. But, yeah, I would ask for it. You know, I think it's stupid that, you know, what are they going to do with the tag? Who cares? You know what I mean? It doesn't have any relevance to them whatsoever, you know. I don't fucking get it, man. Yeah, so anyone who doesn't have their white tag, call your AD and say if you really want it. You know, say, look, man, I know this doesn't make my watch a full set. That might make them think, oh, you're a flipper, you're going to try to sell it. But just say, no, I want everything it comes with. That's what I paid for, you know. You know, Rolex don't, you know, but it doesn't make sense to me. Some fucking ADs, man. It's the arrogance, right? You know. All right, last question of the day is Daily Padley. Question for the watch ball. Thank you, watch ball. Is the Submariner still a worthy option for a one watch buy? If you can only buy one watch, make it a Submariner. Yes, no? Yes. You didn't ask me to elaborate. You actually put yes, no. Yeah, dude. Any Rolex is a good one watch. Well, not any Rolex, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say a Yachtmaster 2 is a one and done. But the Submariner is, yeah, it's iconic, dude. It's, you know, the most iconic dive watch out there in the freaking world. So yeah, total one and done. You think you can dress that thing up? Look at James Bond, man. Rocks that shit. Go to the beach with it. Go scuba diving. Go swimming. Do whatever you want with it. One and done. Perfect watch. Having said that, you guys, I really appreciate everyone who watches, likes, subscribes, and I'm sorry that I'm fucking kind of laid out, man. It sucks, but well, it'll get resolved, and we'll see you guys on the next one. You guys take care.